Okay, well, everyone, welcome. My name's Lizzie, and yeah, I really hope that you enjoy this yoga class this evening. Just before we get started, just a little reminder of if you've never practiced yoga before, just really take your time to observe and feel your body, and really just basically with yoga, it's all about developing that inner body awareness. So looking for what feels right and looking for what doesn't feel right. So if you're finding in any of the postures you're feeling sort of pain or tension, just gently ease out of the pose. So really listen to what feels right and listen to what doesn't feel right. And again, this isn't a competition. If you feel like you can't get into any of the poses, that is absolutely fine. Yoga is the journey, not the destination. So yeah, just take your time, ease in and out through the poses, and just make this an enjoyable experience. This is a self-care practice for you. This 1 hour is purely for you. Okay, so let's all get started. So if you'd like to come on, if you're not already on your mat, if you'd like to come into Sukhasana, which is easy pose, gently rolling the shoulders back and down, and then maybe gently tucking the chin in as well, keeping the spine straight too. And before we really sort of move into the sort of present moment of the yoga practice, the theme of today is wildlife. And for those of you that are not aware, yoga was originally designed by yogis, obviously, to take ourselves to the present moment, which is joy. But a lot of yogis as well also studied nature and things that were outside of us. And if you're not already familiar with the animal poses that we have in yoga, there was an ancient yogi called Lord Dattatreya, and he was interested in the way that animals moved, but he was also interested in nature. And what he wanted to do was to learn and understand the way that animals moved, so that humans could understand themselves, how they move, but also so humans could understand their roles in nature. But generally also understanding that we are all interconnected. So us, nature, the world, animals, the universe, we're all one. So essentially, the poses in yoga, the animal poses, are all about just connecting with the present moment and connecting with nature. So when we are in the poses, I'd really like you to visualize that animal and imagine that animal moving in nature. And I'm sure that you're all pretty aware of this because you're all conservationists. So this should hopefully come pretty easy to you all. Okay, so let's get started. If you'd like to gently close your eyes or take a light gaze if you feel comfortable to do so. And just leave any sort of plans, lists, worries, concerns at the door, and just park them at the door for this 1 hour. And I assure you can come back to those plans and lists at the end of this session. And then bring your awareness now to your external environment and noticing any sounds outside of the room, inside of the room, maybe the sounds of your breath, your heartbeat, noticing the temperature. Is it warm? Is it cold? And then noticing any smells near you or any smells that are a bit further away. Just taking this time to observe, notice any feelings that arise. And then bring your awareness now to your body. And just taking this time to notice your sitting bones against the ground, your legs and your feet against the ground. Noticing your torso seated on top of your pelvis. And then just taking a moment to scan from the head all the way down to the legs and back up again. Just observing for any tension in the body. And if there is any tension in the body, hopefully we'll ease out that tension through this practice, through the asanas, through relaxation, and through the sort of synchronicity of the breath with the movement. And if your thoughts are already starting to wander, which can happen very easily, I'd like you to bring your awareness now to the natural rhythm and quality of your breath here and now. And just take this time to notice the breath, slowing the inhales, slowing the exhales. And as you slow the inhales and the exhales, the breath becomes deeper and smoother. And with the deepening and the smoothing of the breath, we start to calm the central nervous system down. And see if you can start inhaling and exhaling in and out through the nostrils if you're not already doing so. And I'd like you to notice where you notice the breath. Do you notice it in your nostrils, in your throat, in your chest, or in your belly? And wherever you notice it, that is absolutely fine. It's just again about becoming aware of where the breath is in the body, tuning in to who we are. And again, if your thoughts are wandering, just come back to the breath here and now. And now you may wish to start counting your breath. So you may wish to inhale for 4 seconds. So counting to yourself 1, 2, 3, 4. And then exhale for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just repeat that to yourselves just for a few moments. So just doing a nice short pranayama breathwork exercise here. And just keep coming back to the breath if the thoughts wander. And then when you're ready, just gently come back to normal rhythmic breathing. And just taking this moment just to observe how you're feeling. And then gently open the eyes. So we've just done a nice little short grounding breathwork exercise, hopefully to prepare us for the rest of the session. So we're going to now begin in child's pose. So in child's pose, just come onto your knees and bring your bottom onto your heels. Keep the navel tucked in, the belly tucked in, and then begin to fold forward and exhale, bringing your forehead to the ground on the mat. Stretch out the arms in front of you. And then just breathe. And then again, noticing the weight of your body against the ground, the feet against the ground. And as you notice the weight of your body, just begin to take your awareness now to your breath here and now in this present moment. Breathe. And then very slowly, if your hands are not already towards the front of your mat, stretch them towards the front, and then lift your bottom off your heels, and I'd like your hips to be in line with your knees. Okay, and then from here I'd like to bring your forehead back down to the ground, so you're keeping your hips raised. So we're moving into a pose called puppy pose. So I'd really like you to visualize now a stretch that a puppy would make in this pose. So again, in this pose, you're going to feel a good stretch in the shoulders here, in the upper back, in the deltoids, on the muscles on the shoulders. Breathe. So if anyone suffers from sort of achy shoulders or rounded shoulders, this is quite a nice way to sort of stretch out at the end of the day or first thing in the morning. And then very slowly walk your hands back in and come into a pose, what's called a tabletop. So in tabletop, I'd like your hands to be directly below your shoulders and your knees directly below your hips. And from here, we're going to move into cat-cow sequence. So cat-cow, I know they're not necessarily wild animals, but they were wild animals to begin with, and I guess they've been domesticated. But the cow animal was very significant for the yogi Lord Dattatreya, because the cow represents Mother Nature. So it's really, really crucial. So what can we learn from the cow and its movements and in its surroundings? Okay. So from here, in cow, we're going to drop the belly, tilt the head back, stick the bottom out, inhale through the nose. And then exhale, I'd like you to begin to round your back, tuck the tailbone in, drop the crown of the head towards the ground into cat. So again, visualizing the movement a cat makes when it stretches in this way. So you're really feeling a stretch now in the length of the back. Then inhale into cow, so stick that bottom out, tilt the head back, drop the belly. And then exhale into cat, tucking that tailbone in, dropping the crown of the head. Inhale to cow, stick the bottom out. Exhale to cat, round the shoulders. Really feeling the fluidity of the movement that these animals make. So the problem that we have as humans, so if you just like to move into cat-cow on your own, just doing it at your own speed, your own pace, feeling that movement in the spine, stretching out the spine, is that sometimes humans don't really know how to care for themselves, or we don't always know how to move our bodies properly. And actually animals know how to move their bodies and adjust them according to their external environment, to nature. And then come back to center. Okay. And then from here, we're going to move into the pine marten, or also known as in yoga, bird dog. So in pine marten, I like to stretch out your left leg back, really actively engage that leg now. Then from here, taking an inhalation, raise the left leg so it's in line with the hip. And then take a further inhalation and raise the right arm so it's in line with the ear. Breathe. So really engage that leg and keep the hip sort of even level as well. Breathe. So this is option 1, you can stay here. Option 2, bring your right hand behind you and see if you can take hold of your left foot. And then raise that left leg up high. Breathe. See if you can keep those hips level. Keep breathing. And then very slowly, exhale, release that right arm down, and then release the left leg down, and very slowly and mindfully draw it back in. Okay. And then from here, slide the right leg back. Actively engage that right leg. Taking an inhalation, raise the right leg now so it's in line with the hip. And then inhale, raise the left arm so it's in line with the ear, and breathe. So this is option 1. Option 2, bring your left arm behind you and take hold of your right foot. And see if you can look over the left shoulder as well. So getting a nice little back bend here. Breathe. Well done, guys. And then very slowly exhale, release the left hand And then release that right leg down to the ground and slide it in mindfully. Then from here, dropping onto the belly. So bringing your elbows in line with your shoulders and your forearms are down onto the ground. And then you can stretch out your legs. So we're moving into Sphinx pose. So the Sphinx at the pyramids of Egypt originally did represent, before it was the Sphinx, there was like a lion statue, I believe. So think about the positioning of a lion and the movement a lion makes, but also when the lion is just sat resting in its environment, relaxing. So just getting a nice gentle back bend here. And then from here, taking an inhalation, look over the left shoulder. Back to center. Look over the right shoulder. Back to center. And then from here, see if you can walk up onto your hands. So bring your hands just above, just below your shoulders, moving into cobra pose. So this is quite strong. So if you're really struggling with this, you can come further down into baby cobra. So you're engaging your core, you're lifting your chest off the ground and you're looking straight ahead. Alternatively, if you are able to come into full cobra, keeping your pelvis down on the ground, engage your core, engage your glutes, look straight ahead, and then gently roll those shoulders back and down and just bring a tiny little micro bend into the elbows. So you're keeping your arms in. So imagine the movement of a cobra, a snake, but also imagine the height that a snake can kind of come up to, the cobra, when it sort of comes into its full height. So keep your arms in and just visualize that stance of the cobra. Keep pushing the tops of your feet down into the mat. And then if you need to, very slowly exhale, come all the way down onto the mat. So coming onto your knees now, back into tabletop. And then bring your hands to the front of the mat. So your hands are shoulder distance apart. Bring your weight into your fingertips. You've got a bit of a suction going on between your palms and the mat. So bringing your weight into your tippy toes, and then begin to exhale and lift your knees up, and then push your hips up and back, pushing your thighs towards the back of the room, coming into fox pose, or also known as downward dog. And just begin by pedaling those legs out as well. So you're lifting the heels back up and down. So just stretching the hamstrings, stretching the calves. And if you bring a good bend into the knees as well, you can actually sometimes push those hips a bit further back too. You're imagining that you're pushing the mat away from you. Then very slowly, begin to walk your feet in towards your hands to the front of the mat. So then bring your feet side by side, and then bring a good bend in the knees into a forward fold. Breathe. So forward folds, sort of very calming poses for the central nervous system. And then very slowly, one vertebrae by vertebrae at a time, inhale and come up to standing, with the head the last to come up. Okay, coming into mountain pose. So in mountain pose, your feet are together and your hands are on your hips. Or you can have your palms facing the front of the room, gently roll the shoulders back and down, gently tuck the chin in, and just take this moment now to close your eyes again and just ground. So we're just taking a moment to feel and observe the ground to foot connection in this present moment, and your breath as well. So observing your inhalations and observing your exhalations, in and out through the nose. And then just taking this time to notice, is the weight evenly balanced across both your feet, Or is it more on the one side opposed to the other? So bringing your weight now into your left foot, then into your right foot, into your left foot, into the right foot. Then bring your weight to the front of the feet, to your toes, into the balls. Then bring your weight to the center of the foot. Bring your weight to the back of the foot. And as you lift all your toes off the ground, you feel that natural arch forming. So it's really important to develop that muscle in our feet, because we all tend to wear shoes, which sort of really doesn't help us to sort of strengthening the muscles in our feet. So again, as I was saying at the start, it's all about becoming aware of our bodies and feeling the natural movement of our bodies as we observe animals doing in nature. Okay, and then very gently drop those toes back down. So if you're already standing at the front of the mat, 1 foot from the front of the mat, into Tadasana, mountain pose. And we're going to move into the sun salutation sequence. And the sun salutation sequence is essentially, it was developed to honor the sun. And in this case, we're going to be honoring the sun, but we're also going to be honoring the summer solstice. And by honoring the summer solstice, we're honoring the changes in seasons, and we're honoring the flows and changes of things in life, and we're honoring change and flow of nature. So by honoring the change and flow of nature, it means we're essentially stating that life is impermanent, and life is impermanent. And once we sort of begin to understand that everything is impermanent, that things are always changing, we can let go of that attachment and we can surrender. We can give in to those things. And sometimes by surrendering and letting go, actually takes some of our suffering and pain away. Okay, so let's get ready for our sun salutation sequence. So bringing your hands to heart center into prayer pose. So you've got your tailbone tucked in and your hands are sort of in prayer. Taking an inhalation, moving from prayer pramanasana, you can either circle sweep the arms up, or you can raise the arms straight up. Inhale, bring the arms in line with the ears into Hasta Uttanasana, raised arm pose. Then exhale, begin to fold forward, head to knees, bringing a good bend in the knees into Padahastanasana, forward fold. And then inhale, step the left foot all the way back, drop the left knee to the ground into Anjanasana, which is low lunge. So you're pushing those hips forward and down. You can be on your fingertips. Then press the palms all the way down, and then bring your right foot to meet your left foot into a plank. So you're tucking that tailbone in, and imagine you're one long muscle. And then from here, you can either drop the knees to the ground, or you can press down, exhale in one fluid movement, coming all the way down, keeping those elbows tucked in, pressing the tops of the feet down, taking an inhalation, lift the chest off the ground, roll the shoulders down into Cobra Pose, Bhujangasana, looking straight ahead. Exhale, drop the head all the way down, pushing into the hands. Now lift the hips and the knees up and back into a downward dog. And I'd like your feet to be hip distance apart. Taking an inhalation, raising the right leg all the way up, sweep it or step it through into a low lunge, dropping the left knee down, looking straight ahead. Exhale, bring the left foot to meet the right foot into a forward fold, really softening the knees. Inhale, raise the arms, circle sweep them up or bring them straight up into Hasta Uttanasana, then exhale into prayer. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, fold forward, head to knees. Inhale, step the right foot back, right knee to the ground into a low lunge, looking straight ahead. Then bring the left foot to meet the right foot into plank, keeping that tailbone tucked in, keeping the elbows in as well. Then exhale, coming down in one fluid movement or dropping the knees, keeping the elbows in. Inhale, lift the chest off the ground, squeeze the glutes into Bhujangasana, Cobra Pose, roll the shoulders back and down. Exhale, lower the head all the way down, pushing into the hands, lift the hips and the knees up and back into a downward dog, or also fox. Taking an inhalation, raising the left leg up high, sweep it or step it through into a low lunge, dropping the right knee to the ground, looking straight ahead. Then exhale, bring the right foot to meet the left foot into a forward fold, bring a good bend in the knees. Then inhale, raise the arms. Exhale into prayer. Again, inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, fold forward, head to knees. Inhale, step the left foot back, left knee to the ground into a low lunge, looking straight ahead. Drop the palms down, bring the right foot to meet the left foot into a plank pose. Then dropping the knees down or pressing down in one movement, keeping those elbows in. Exhale. Inhale, lift the chest off the ground into cobra pose, squeezing those glutes. Exhale, drop the head all the way down, pushing into the palms, lifting the heels and the hips up and back into a downward dog. Inhale, raise the right leg up high, sweep it or step it through in between the hands, dropping the left knee to the ground into a low lunge, looking straight ahead. Exhale, bring the left foot to meet the right foot into a forward fold, head to knees. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale into prayer. Just got one more to do now. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, fold forward, head to knees. Soften the knees as well. And that releases any pressure in the lower back. Inhale, step the right foot back, right knee to the ground into a low lunge, looking straight ahead. Then bring the left foot to meet the right foot into a plank, tucking that tailbone in. Exhale, pressing all the way down or dropping the knees down, coming down. Keep those elbows in. Inhale, engage the core, lift the chest into cobra. Exhale, lower the head all the way down, pushing into the hands, lift the hips and the knees up and back into downward dog. So keep pushing those thighs towards the back of the room. Inhale, raise the left leg up high, sweep it or step it through into a low lunge, dropping the right knee to the ground, looking straight ahead. Exhale, bring the right foot to meet the left foot into forward fold. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale into prayer. And just taking this moment now, just to gather your thoughts, to gather your breath, gather your body, and maybe taking hold of opposite elbows, slightly widening your stance, and then exhale and maybe just gently fold forward and just gently sway from side to side. Just taking this moment to feel the benefits of the sun salutation practice, energizing, getting the blood flowing around the body, getting oxygen to all the cells, but also what we've just done, honoring the sun and honoring the sun's, the solstice, honoring the change in seasons, honoring nature, honoring our natural nature, the nature within us. And then from here, very slowly, one vertebrae by vertebrae at a time, inhale and come up to standing. With the head the last to come up, and then back to center. You may just wish to gently roll the shoulders as well, backwards a couple of times, and then forwards. Easing out any tension that's been created, and then come back to center. So if you're already standing at the front of your mat, 1 foot from the front of the mat, the feet are together, keeping your tailbone tucked in. Then from here, you're going to step your left foot all the way back about 5 feet. And your left foot is going to be at 9 o'clock. And your right foot is going to be at 12 o'clock. So keeping your tailbone tucked in and the hips are square. Taking an inhalation, raise the arms. They're in line with the shoulders. And your palms are facing your left hand side. Okay, so moving into Trikonasana, triangle pose. So I know that this isn't an animal pose, but this is still quite a nice shape and form to take, so we can begin to recognize the movements in our body. So from here, making sure the chest is open, really bringing your shoulder blades onto your back. Then exhale, begin to really, really reach forward as far as you can. Bringing your right hand either to your calf or onto the ground, just to the left-hand side of your right foot. Then roll that left shoulder back. And then inhale, raise the left arm with the left palm facing the left-hand side of the room. And imagine you've got your shoulders pressed against the wall. And if you need to take a bend in your front knee, that is absolutely fine. Sometimes having a micro bend helps us to actively engage the muscles in the leg. Breathe. So you're getting a nice stretch in the body here, in the side body. Also working on the shoulders, but also working on engaging and strengthening those muscles in our feet. So really grinding down through those feet, really spreading the weight from the feet. Inhale, very slowly come back up to center. Keeping the arms up. Now bring the palms so they're facing down now. Okay, then exhale, bring a right angle now into your front leg, your right leg. So your right kneecap is in line with your right ankle. Look to the back arm and then the front arm, just to check they're both in line. And your dristi, which is your focus point, is your middle finger. So breathe. And I like your right kneecap to be right, just to the right of your big toe as well. Breathe. Then from here, inhale, raise the right arm up, drop the left hand on the left thigh into graceful warrior. Breathe. Exhale, back, bring the arms back down into warrior 2. Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale into graceful warrior, so raise that right arm, drop the left hand on the left thigh. Exhale into warrior 2. So if you need to rest for a moment, you can just stretch out that front leg. But if you're happy to continue, I'd like to exhale and bring your right elbow onto your right knee. Moving into Utthita Padasana, which is extended side angle. So rolling that left shoulder back, and you're now peeling open that left rib cage to the outside of the room. Inhale, raise the left arm overhead as if you're reaching for something towards the front of the room. So this is option 1. You can stay here. Option 2, dropping your right hand just to the left-hand side of your right foot. Breathe. You're getting a deeper stretch in the hip now, working on those hip flexors. And then very slowly, inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, release the arms, straighten that right leg. Then pivot round on the right foot now. So your right foot is at 3 o'clock and your left foot now is at 12 o'clock. So again, moving into Trikonasana, triangle pose on the opposite side. So keeping the hips square. Taking an inhalation, raising the arms now so they're in line with the shoulders. Look to the front arm, really open the chest, so really open that heart-centered space. And again, tuning in with the body, really grinding down through the feet as well, recognizing that Pada Bandha, which is the ground to foot connection. Exhale, begin to really reach forward with that left arm. So either bringing the left hand onto your calf, onto your thigh, onto the ground. Then inhale, draw that right shoulder back and lift the right arm up with the right palm facing the right hand side of the room. So you can either keep your gaze down or your gaze can be towards your hand. Just do with what feels comfortable and right for you. And just imagine that your shoulders are pressed against a wall. Well done, guys. You should be feeling a good stretch in the hamstring here. Then very slowly inhale, come back up to center. Keeping the arms up, but turning the palms down now. Exhale, bring a right angle now into that left leg. So the left knee and the left ankle are in line. Look to the back arm and then the front arm just to check they're both in line. bring your gaze, your drishti point, to your front middle finger. And if the more parallel your thigh is with the ground, the deeper the stretch. Just go with what feels right for you. Breathe. Inhale, raise the left arm overhead, drop the right palm to the ground into graceful warrior. Exhale, bring the arms back down into warrior two. Inhale to graceful warrior. Exhale, back up to warrior two. One more time, inhale to graceful warrior. Exhale to warrior two. And again, if you need to rest that front leg, just lower the arms, straighten out that front leg just for a moment. And if you're ready to carry on, bring a right angle again into that front leg. Exhale, drop your left elbow onto your left knee. Draw that right shoulder back, really peeling open the right rib cage now to that side of the room. Taking an inhalation, raising the arm, right arm overhead, and exhale, begin to really reach towards the front of the room. This is option one. You can stay here, feeling the benefits of the stretch in the side body and in the left hip. Option two, take an exhalation, drop your right hand just to the right hand side of your right foot, feeling an even deeper stretch in the hip. So we tend to do a lot of hip work in yoga because we all tend to store quite a lot of energy and sort of emotion and tension in the hips. So this is a nice way to work on that. Very slowly inhale, come back up to center, rise very slowly. Exhale, lower the arms, turn the left foot in, and then toe heel the feet in. Okay, so from here we're going to move on to a nice sort of little balancing pose, Vrikasana, which translates into tree pose. So again, yogas are all interested in observing the natural forms and shapes in nature in such a way that we could learn to appreciate and sort of bring awareness to ourselves and the world. So bringing your right foot onto just above your left ankle. So this is option one. Option two, you can bring your right foot onto your calf. Option three, you can bring it onto your thigh. So before we really get started, actually, I forgot to go through this. Really ground down through that left foot, really spreading out the weight through the feet and bringing a micro bend in that leg, that left leg. Okay, keep the torso straight. And then find that position where you'd like to place your foot. So either just above the ankle, onto the calf, or you're going to have it on your thigh. Breathe. And then see if you can bring your hands to heart center. Keep your hips square, look straight ahead, and just find a focus point, something to focus on. And then just take this time to notice all the tiny little movements your feet are having to make here and now in this present moment. Just keep breathing in and out through the nose. And bring your arms out to the sides. Imagine the tree is blowing in the wind. Inhale, bring the arms overhead into prayer. Exhale, bring the arms down to heart center. And then very gently release the leg down. And then just give that leg a little bit of a shake. So give that left leg a bit of a shake. Okay. Let's repeat on the other side. So again, really grounding down through that right foot. Bring a micro bend into that leg. So try to neutralize the pelvis as well. And then from here, either bringing that foot just above the ankle onto the calf, or you're going to be bringing it onto the thigh. So go with what feels right for you. Listen to your body. Keep those hips square. And then look straight ahead. And breathe. Noticing all the tiny little movements your feet are making. Your foot, sorry. Again, visualizing that tree, the steadiness of the tree blowing in the wind. Breathe. Bringing your arms out to the sides. Imagine you're blowing in the wind. Bring your arms overhead into prayer. Inhale. And then exhale, bring your hands to heart center. And then very slowly release that leg back down, giving the right leg a little bit of a shake. Okay. And let's from here just take a moment to rest in child's pose. So bringing your buttocks onto your heels and then maybe folding forward. And you can have your arms at your sides now this time. And just taking this moment now just to observe the benefits of the practice so far. Try not to judge how you've done in the practice, just observing the journey. And if there are any judgments that come up, judge with kindness and love. Judge with kindness and love that we see in nature. Then very slowly come up. Inhale as you come up back to center. Okay, and then exhale to center. And then from here, we're going to move into Baddha Konasana, which is bound angle pose, but this can also be known as butterfly pose. So bringing your soles of your feet in together. Then wrapping your hands around your feet. Keeping the spine straight, rolling those shoulders back and down. And then just take this moment just to gently lift the knees, either one at a time, or do a sort of a faster movement, whatever feels good for you. And just gently close the eyes and just take this time to visualize the movement of the butterfly in its natural surroundings. Observing the colors, observing the speed of its movement, and then observing its surroundings. And then come back to center. And then from here, keeping your feet together, but then just drawing the legs out a little bit in front of you. Okay. So I think it's World Tortoise Day today, I believe. So we're going to have a little go at the Konasana, which is the tortoise practice. So we'll just begin with the simple variation. So whereas in Baddha Konasana, you've got the legs drawn in and you're sat right on top of your sitting bones. Stretch the legs out now in front of you. And then from here, I'd like you to bring your hands underneath your legs. So your hands are directly alongside your feet. Okay. Keep that navel tucked in. And then exhale and see how far you can fold forward. And if we've got any super experienced yogis here, which is a possibility, bring your arms out to the sides. So your arms are just parallel to your knees. And then see if you can stretch your legs out. For anyone that knows the pose. Otherwise, stay where you are and just breathe, keeping that belly tucked in. Again, imagining and visualizing the tortoise, its shell, and its very slow movements, and its very slow breath. And in the slow movements and the slow breath, the tortoises do end up having a very long lifespan. And the slower our breath is, the longer our life will be. So we can have a lot to learn from tortoises and just learning to slow down to the natural pace of nature. So wherever you are now, very slowly inhale, draw the arms back up to the center. One vertebra at a time. Inhale, draw the knees in towards your chest for a moment. Maybe lifting the feet off the ground. And exhale, drop down. Okay, now from here, coming onto your knees. we're going to move into downward dog, so into fox pose. Bringing your hands to the front of the mat, really bringing your weight into your fingertips. Then bringing your weight into your toes, exhale, lift the knees up and back into a downward dog or into fox. And just pedal the legs out for a moment. Taking an inhalation now, lift the right leg up high and then draw the knee in and drop the knee just to below your right wrist. Drop that leg down. Then slide the left leg back as far as you can so that your hip comes to the ground. So if that's too far, actually I just forgot to mention, if anyone has a problem here or struggles with it, you can just bring a pillow just underneath that right hip. So we've moved into Ekapada Rajakapotanasana, which is pigeon pose. So coming onto your fingertips and just checking that your back leg is completely straight. Really open up the chest, really puff the chest, and visualize how pigeons puff out their chest. Breathe. So really working on the psoatic muscle here. So anyone that suffers from sciatica, this is quite a nice pose to practice. And then very slowly exhale, bring your forearms down onto the mat. And then maybe start to walk the hands as far forward as you can. Exhale, keep that navel tucked in, the belly tucked in. Drop the forehead to the ground and then breathe. This is the full pose in pigeon pose. Breathe. And at any point, if you need to come out of the pose, just feel free to do so. If you are finding it difficult to stretch out that back leg, that's absolutely fine. You can have it bent as well. And then very slowly walk the hands back into center. Inhale as you come back in. And just bring the hands so they're just a little bit above your shoulders. And then draw that right leg back. Coming back into tabletop. And then just giving that right leg just a little bit of a shake, just shaking out any tension. And then from here, coming back into downward dog. So bringing your weight to the hands, push the hips up and back. Taking an inhalation, raise the left leg all the way up and high. Sweep it through and drop the left knee just to below the left wrist, dropping that leg down. And see if you can bring your left heel just to above your right hip. Okay. So again, just checking your back leg if it's straight. If you really struggle to do that with that, you can just bring a bend into the leg. So bringing your weight onto the fingertips, really puffing out the chest. Look straight ahead. Pigeon pose. Visualizing that pigeon either on the high street or in its natural environment. And some trees in the bushes. And then very slowly exhale, come onto the forearms and then start to walk the arms forward, bringing your forehead to the ground. Breathe. Feeling that deep stretch in the psoatic muscle and also the piriformis as well. Just breathing into the pose, bringing your awareness into the pose. Bringing your breath to the pose. Tuning in your breath with the body, taking your mind to the body. And then very slowly inhale, walk the arms back in. And then bring your left leg back into tabletop. And then just give that left leg just a little bit of a shake. Okay. And then from here, let's come to lying on our backs. But I'd like you to keep your legs out straight. Keep the legs together. Then bring the forearms down, but keep them close to your body. We're moving into fish pose. And then very slowly exhale and see if you can drop the crown of the head onto the ground. So you're keeping your neck off the ground. You're keeping your upper back raised. Just got a nice little back bend here.
just as a counter pose to all the forward folds that we've been doing. Breathe. Keep those legs straight and stretched. Keep those legs active and engaged. Engage the muscles. And then very slowly exhale and release everything down to the ground. Taking a moment and then just draw the knees in towards the chest. And then gently roll from side to side, massaging out the lower back. And then maybe bringing your forehead towards your knees, inhale. And then exhale, drop the head back down. And then drop the legs to the ground, stretching out the legs. And then letting the feet flop out to the side. So if anyone struggles with lying on your back for long periods of time and you get back pain, you can just keep your knees up in, drop the knees towards one another, and then bring your feet to the width edges of the mat. Otherwise, just have those legs outstretched. And then just gently bring your arms to your sides with the palms facing up, and then gently close your eyes. So we're moving into the final resting pose, which is Shavasana corpse pose, the final relaxation pose. And again, just taking this time just to bring your awareness now again to the external environment, the sounds, the smells, the temperature, and just observing how you engage with those now compared to the start of the class. Now bringing your awareness now to your body and just observing how your body feels now compared to the start of the practice. So taking a moment to scan from the head, down the neck, the shoulders, the arms, the torso, spine, the pelvis, the legs, the feet, back up again. And if there is any remaining tension in the body, I'd like you to take a deep inhalation through the nose and repeat to yourself, let. And then exhale out the mouth and say, go. Inhale through the nose, say, let. And then exhale out, go. Inhale through the nose, say, let. Exhale out, go. And as you let any remaining tension leave the body becomes totally relaxed. And as the body becomes totally relaxed, the mind becomes relaxed, and so does the breath. And then just take this time, this quiet time, just to lie in this present moment, here and now. Observing the weight, the head, the neck, the back, the arms, the pelvis, the legs, and the feet against the ground. Fully relaxed, fully present in the moment. Okay, so just taking this time now to repeat 3 positive affirmations that I'd like you to take away with you. I am blessed to have nature around me. I am one with nature and it is one with me. My spirit is nourished by spending time in nature. So gently bringing your awareness to your body and your breath in this present moment. Start to wiggle fingers and toes. Rotate the wrists. Rotate the ankles. Stretching the arms. Stretching the legs. Taking a full body stretch. Maybe gently hugging the knees in. And then very gently
rolling over to your right hand side, coming into a recovery position, using your right arm as a pillow. And just taking this moment just to observe how you're feeling here and now. And very gently pushing into your left hand, coming up into a seated pose, Sukhasana. Rolling the shoulders back and down. Gently rubbing the hands together, creating warmth, creating energy. And placing the hands over the face, feeling that warmth, feeling that energy. Gently open your eyes, gazing into the darkness, gazing into stillness, gazing into peace. Bringing your hands to heart center. Namaste, and thank you for practicing with me this evening. I hope you enjoyed it.